Is Alpha the top dog or the runt? Let's find out. Alpha's the tale of a prehistoric young man who domesticates the first dog. It's directed by Albert Hughes, who's normally partnered with his brother to bring us movies like The Book of Eli and Menace to Society. This time he's on his own. He does share in the writing credits as well. It stars Cody Smit-McPhee, who's been in some of the X-Men movies, as well as he was the boy in The Road, that retelling of Cormac McCarthy's novel. I'm going to tell you what I liked about the movie first, and then we can go into everything that I didn't like about it. What I did like is that it had a little bit of heart to it. The relationship that develops between the dog and the boy actually is a little heartwarming, and it's touching. Now, the cinematography, some of it was really good. I enjoyed it. You know, you have all of these sweeping landscapes. The movie takes place supposedly 20,000 years ago in Europe. And so you have just this vast openness of plains and valleys and these almost Grand Canyon looking type things. As the story goes along, we get to see different versions of this as it's in springtime or maybe fall, and then even wintertime. And so you get to see just the extremes in the weather. So sometimes it's very green, and then other times it's just blizzard and you can't see anything. There's also a very cool shot, and it was shown in the trailer, but it's just outstanding when you get to see all of the detail, is the boy falls under some ice into a lake or a river or something, and so the shot becomes of the dog up above the ice, the boy underneath the ice, and you get to see the fish swimming around, and it's just really cool as he struggles to get out of that ice, and he's picking at it and trying his hardest, and the dog is trying to get him out. And so it was just really cool to look at. I mean, the graphics in there were really nice. In the story, the boy and his tribe go hunting, and they have to go hunt these like buffalo looking things. So it takes them a week's journey to get from their camp to where the buffalo are. As they begin their travels, we get to see them trudge through their first day. Now, luckily, this does not end like The Hobbit, where we just have this really, really long trek that leads to something kind of anticlimactic. Nope, they did this really cool effect where they just kind of sped through as almost flying through all of these lands as they keep going and going and going, and then it resolves to the tribe or the hunters in a cave getting ready for the hunt. Now, I really appreciated that because it could have spent forever getting to that point and for nothing, because all it is a long walk, kind of like The Hobbit. But they didn't do that, and so that was really good to see, because then it got us to the movie a little bit faster, got us into the story just a little bit quicker, so now I can watch it and I can actually see what's going to happen. The trek there is not the point of the film. Through the course of an accident, the boy is left because he's thought to be dead. And he really isn't dead, he survives, and he befriends, kind of, and it takes a really long time to befriend this wolf or dog. I guess at this point it's a wolf, even though it looks a lot like a German Shepherd or a Husky. Being a dog lover, the interactions with the dog or the wolf they're very realistic. And you could appreciate as you go towards a new dog, and sometimes or if it's injured and so it doesn't want you, but sometimes it knows it needs what you have, but it still doesn't trust you or doesn't want you to come near it and touch it. And so a lot of those interactions between the boy and the dog, they really rang true. It was accurate to watch, and so it added a level of realism to it that I didn't mind, and so I enjoyed seeing that part of it and watching them navigate each other and learn to trust each other a little bit. The story, though, overall is not really there. I mean, it truly is just a trek, and so once the boy is not dead and works together with the dog, I mean, as the boy is healing, the dog is kind of healing too, and then they begin this journey home. And that's really the entire story of this boy trying to get home. That's it. And so if it hadn't spent enough time beforehand at least introducing us to the boy, we would really care less if he lived or died. We'd probably care more if the dog lived or died. So it's just kind of a flat story. I mean, there's nothing really there, honestly. There's some moments also with CGI that are just not good, where he's carrying a dog and he sets him down, and you can totally tell that he was not carrying a real dog at that moment and setting down a real dog. It really stood out, which is unfortunate because a lot of the other scenes, I couldn't tell that it was CGI. There's some huge blizzard scenes and it looked real. I mean, I bought it, at least. I have an issue with the timeline of the story too, because in the beginning of the film, we are told it takes a week for the hunters to get from their tribe or from their camp to the hunting ground. So therefore it should take about a week to get home, right? Well, when the boy is coming home, there's no real sense of time of how long he's been trying to heal up. I'm imagining weeks and weeks, but it's not snowy when he begins his trek. And by the end, it's full-on blizzard. Now, maybe there is some wild weather where he's at, and so winter just comes on and covers everything and it becomes blizzard-like conditions, but it just didn't ring true to me, and that was a bummer because I couldn't really tell. It shouldn't have been that long of a trek once he began, once he was all healed up and he started. Even if you add a couple of days because maybe he got lost or maybe he's not traveling as fast, that part of it really threw me off a little bit, and so not having any sense of time in this was just kind of a downer. So what do you get with Alpha? Well, you don't really have a story, but you have kind of a main character that you sort of care about. You have a dog or a wolf that grows on you and that you kind of do care about. And yeah, that's it. So where does that leave you? How is that? Well, you know what? I don't think I could really recommend this. It might be great for a Redbox rental. Maybe wait till it comes out on Netflix. I don't think, though, it's worth your hard-earned cash to go and sit down in the theater to see it. There's no sex, nudity, or profanity. There is a bunch of violence. I give Alpha 2.5 out of 5 couches. What's your favorite movie that involves a dog? Is there a favorite movie that involves a dog? A lot of them turn out to be sad sometimes, so I don't know. Maybe you like that, maybe you don't. I'd just love to know in the comments below if you have an animal movie, maybe. Let's go with that. Favorite animal movie? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.